What is up, my beautiful people? Welcome back to the Moments Podcast. I am so excited to sit down and record right now. I think we're on episode 8. Guys, 8 weeks in a row. 2 months we've been going strong. I am so proud of us. 2 months. Guys, I feel like I haven't recorded an episode in such a long time. It's literally been less than a week, I think. No, it's been about a week since I recorded last, but this past week has felt like a whole year. I feel like I have socialized so much. I have done so much. I don't know. Does that happen to anyone else around the holidays? Like, I am just like burnt out from Thanksgiving week. I am tired. But it's a Saturday night. I'm sitting in the van. I'm recording this podcast. I've been wanting to do it all day, but I'm getting around to it now. And it's like 8 p.m. and I didn't make an outline for this podcast. I know what I want to call this podcast, but I don't know everything that I want to talk about. So we're really just freestyling this. I mean, to be fair, I do kind of freestyle most of the podcast, but sometimes I'll have some notes or an outline. Not today. Not today. So we're definitely going to see how this goes. I want to call this episode Moments in Gratitude. Not only because I find it very fitting to do it right after Thanksgiving, but also because the other day, I've told you guys about this a few times. I did a journal entry in my notes in August, and it was the one where I wrote about it in the present tense, but a year from now. So basically, I wrote about my life as if all my dreams had already come true. And in that, I wrote that I was recording a podcast episode about gratitude. And I hadn't read that journal entry since I first wrote it back in August, and it was super, super weird to read it because I also mentioned that I had a van in that. And I'm sitting in a van recording a podcast episode about gratitude. And it blows my mind that we've made it here, that we've done all this. And I just want you guys to know how much I genuinely appreciate you and how much you guys inspire me and how much you mean to me. And I'm going on a spiral again, and I do this in every episode, and I'm not even mad about it. You guys have seriously changed my life in more ways than you could ever know. You've gotten me through my hardest days. You've motivated me to keep working harder on my best days. And you guys have made me feel like I am capable of reaching any of my dreams. And that's who I want to be for you. I think that we can all inspire each other in so many different ways. And it's very, very, very cool. I think it's my favorite thing about social media. You know, I talk a lot about the negative side of social media. But lately, with all this gratitude thought and all this thankfulness, I've been thinking about how cool it is that I have been able to not physically meet all of you guys, but have such interesting conversations, meet so many new people from all different places, and we can do all of that just through our phone. It's just a really weird concept to me. I can't quite grasp it, but I think it is incredible. I just feel very lucky to have you guys and very lucky to know each of you and so excited to have this platform and this podcast to just be able to talk about literally whatever we want to talk about. I've honestly been in such a weird headspace lately. It's very hard to explain. So I'm going to try to do it because it's kind of the one thing that's on my mind. And I don't know if anyone else kind of feels like this, but I always have this thing where my mind is constantly battling with itself. And by that I mean, like when the holidays come around and all my friends are in town and they're home for break, so they don't have too much responsibility when you're home from college for break, and they want to do things and go places all the time. And then my brain is just like, no, you're supposed to be working. You're supposed to be doing this. Like, you should be working on this or focusing on blah blah blah. And then I'll fight myself back and be like, no, my friends are home. I want to go hang out with my friends. I'm 20 years old, you know? And it's such a weird thing that I've been navigating. And I've known that I've always been super conflicted ever since I was first in college, because that's part of the reason I left FSU originally, was just that I never could figure out a balance. Like, my mind never felt balanced. Whatever I was doing, my mind would tell me I was supposed to be doing the opposite, no matter what. And at times, it's one of the things I love about myself because I do think it keeps me motivated, and I think that in a lot of cases it pushes me in the right direction. But it's such an annoying feeling, and I just don't know if anyone else has had that issue. And if you have it, you're not alone. And also, if you have it and you got some advice, I would gladly listen to all of it. I also think lately I've been leaning more towards the direction of just understanding that none of us are ever going to be this young again. I was looking up the demographics of who listens to this podcast, and a very, very high percentage are people specifically girls between the ages of 18 to 22. And I don't know, seeing those analytics just really made me realize that we are so young and we have so much life ahead of us, and we have so much time to figure out what we want to do with our lives and how we're going to do it. And there doesn't need to be so much pressure on that right now. When we get older, I know for a fact that we're not going to look back and be like, oh, I should have skipped that party to do blah, blah, blah. We're going to look back and be like, I am so glad that I went to that party and I have those memories with my friends and I got to experience that. And that is something I have been trying so hard to focus on. Because I always feel super guilty when I go out a couple of nights in a row, or I sleep in, or I don't get too much work done in the day. Because I'm like, oh, this isn't pushing me in the right direction. This is holding me back. This is blah, 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 blah. And then a week passes from the event and I look back and I'm like, that was so much fun. You know what? I got caught up on my work this week. I got things back on track. And I am really glad that I got to go spend those moments with the people that I love. And I think the past couple of days, I've just been feeling very, very thankful for that. Don't get me wrong. I am kind of a hypocrite saying that because I do still struggle and I still will sleep in and be like, oh my God, why did I sleep in? Blah, 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 blah. I shouldn't have done that. I should have been up 3 hours ago. I should have gone and worked out. I shouldn't have had stir fry for breakfast. I should have had eggs and something healthy. But I'm learning and I'm working on changing my mindset. And last night I was out with my friends and it was super late. We're sitting around the fireplace and we just started talking, and we all kind of came to this realization that everything starts in your mind. And I'll say that over and over and over again because it's never going to change. And I think it's the one thing that we all need to be aware of. If we're going to make a change to better ourselves, we have to change the way that we view the world. We have to change the way that we view situations. If we look at everything from such a negative perspective, for example, if I keep doing the thing where when I sleep in, I get so mad at myself, I'm never going to better myself. I'm never going to feel good about what I'm doing or what I'm accomplishing. Our mind is eventually going to be conditioned to just point out every single thing that you're doing wrong. And I notice that when my mental health gets bad and when I feel like crap, it's because that's what I'm doing. And a lot of times it's subconsciously, and a lot of times we don't even realize that we're being so negative. And that's just because it becomes normal for us. So I think what I'm really trying to get at in this episode is that instead of being so hard on yourself for every little thing that you feel like you're doing wrong, instead of judging yourself and treating yourself badly, simply change that perspective to be grateful for what you did get to do and what you did accomplish. I think that gratitude is something that is hard for me sometimes, not in a surface level sense. I think that I'm very grateful for so many things that have happened in my life. I have had really cool freaking experiences, and I have been very, very blessed. And I am so thankful for that. But I'm never not thankful. I never show the appreciation to myself. And I think that that's something that causes all of us to burn out at a point. And I don't really know exactly how to explain that feeling or what I'm trying to get across. And I want to keep this episode kind of short, so I'm not going to continue to try to ramble about this exact feeling that I'm feeling when I have absolutely no idea how to do it. And I also feel like this episode is a little bit repetitive. And I really just think that's because when I'm recording these and I'm saying things, if I don't completely believe it yet, I'll keep saying it until I do. And I don't know if anyone else works that way, but sometimes you have to tell me something 20 times before I actually do it. It's just the way I've always been. So if you notice I'm saying the same things in different ways, just know that that's why. I also think I want this episode to be a little bit of a reminder for all of us to start practicing gratitude more normally in our daily lives. So I actually just searched on my phone. I wanted to do not a little bit of research about gratitude, but yeah, a little bit of research on why we need to practice it more and why it's so important. And even after just reading a couple of these sentences is making me realize that I need to practice gratitude a lot more in my daily life. I'm going to read this to you. It's from a Harvard study. I don't know all the details, but it says, in positive psychology research, gratitude is strongly and consistently associated with greater happiness. Gratitude helps people feel more positive emotions, relish good memories, improve their health, deal with adversity, and build strong relationships. And it also talks about how the holiday season is supposed to directly go hand in hand with being thankful and being grateful, but it often leads a lot of people to more sadness, anxiousness, and depression. And that leads me to ask the question of why. And while I can't find anything specific, any real research on this, the way I see it is that in a way I feel like society has kind of changed the way that we view the holidays. For a lot of people, it's this pressure to impress your family or to make sure everything goes right and to just make sure everything is perfect. And I think that takes the joy out of a lot of it. So this holiday season, we're taking back the joy. We're bringing it back. And I don't just mean, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for Christmas. I mean, in all of the little things. Changing our view. Getting rid of the idea that when your family members ask you what you want to be when you grow up, you don't have to feel pressured to know. And I just talked about that in the beginning, but we got to change our confidence, our view, when people ask us those questions. They shouldn't be hard to answer. Be honest and be true to yourself, and I think that it makes a big difference. I think instead of wanting to be more or feeling like you need to have more is never going to make us feel fulfilled. But what will make us feel fulfilled is showing bits of appreciation for every single thing that happens in your life and every single person that exists in your life. And I honestly think I needed this reminder right now, but as I'm sitting here and I'm recording, I'm thinking about how many incredible people there are in my life and how long it's been since I've sent them a message and just said, you know what? I love you, and I'm so glad that you exist. And I think I want that to be your little homework assignment of the day. As soon as you finish this, or right now while you're listening, go through all your messages. Everyone you've talked with recently, even if you haven't talked to them in a while, just say I'm thinking of you, and I love you, and I'm proud of you, because you never know what someone else needs. And we don't realize it, but when we help other people and we make other people feel good about themselves, it helps us feel better about ourselves as well. I don't know if that makes sense, but bringing other people joy is going to bring you joy. So I want you to do that. As many people as you can, as many people as you want to, anyone who's made a difference in your life. We don't always realize it, but even relationships that fall out or friendships that fall out teach us something. We always gain something from one another. And we're always influenced by one another and learning from each other. And I think that that is actually a very, very cool concept, especially when you start to think about it. You know, someone could completely break your heart and destroy you, but you know what? It taught you so much about yourself and so much about what you deserve. And it honestly probably taught them just as much about how not to treat people and how to work towards being a better person and to not hurt people. I also want you to write a thank you note to yourself. Thanking yourself for every single thing that you have made it through and every single thing that you have accomplished and all of the work that you have put in to get where you're at today. I don't know if anyone's told you lately, but I am so proud of you. And I want you to feel just as proud of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really deserve it. You are a miracle. The fact that you're even here, the chance of you being born was basically 0%. And you're here. And you've made it this far. And you're going to go so many incredible places. And I want you to believe in yourself. And the first step is being grateful for your existence. It sounds so cheesy. And I go back to this same point in so many episodes, over and over and over again, but you have to be your best friend. You have to treat yourself with kindness if you want to see the world in a bright light. And I've learned that the hard way, and I've gone in so many cycles with it. When I am terrible to myself and I am mean to myself and I talk badly about myself and I talk about what I haven't done yet and what I should be doing, I lose my motivation. I lose my drive. I lose my faith in just believing. But when I'm kind to myself, when I appreciate the little things that I do, even if I don't put 100% into the day, even if I can only put 30% into it, I put 100% of that 30% into everything that I did that day. And instead of sitting there and be like, oh, I didn't put in 70%, I didn't do this, this, or this, I say, you know what? I did this today. And that is enough. And I think that that, for me, has always given me a little bit more willpower and more motivation. And I can't explain why. I think I just work better with positive reinforcement rather than negative reinforcement. I'm not gaining anything by telling myself how much I suck. So write that thank you note. And don't feel selfish and don't feel bad about it. Be proud of it. And then just think about how lucky you are to have everything that you have. We're always looking for the next thing. We always want what we can't have or what we don't have. But why? There is so much to be thankful for. It's snowing outside? Wow, that's beautiful. It's raining outside? Wow, that's beautiful. You have a toilet to go in the bathroom? In? Wow, that's beautiful. You have food to eat? Beautiful. Water to drink? We are all so lucky. So count those blessings every single day. When you wake up, I started doing this a while ago, and honestly, I've kind of been slacking, and I'm going to make an excuse and just say I've been too busy and I forgot about it. But if it's something important enough, there's always time. So this is me reminding myself to do it too. But every morning when you wake up, I want you to write down 3 things that you're grateful for. They can be very, very simple things. You can wake up and write, I'm so grateful for this blanket that is on top of me right now. Oh, and also, I started doing this thing. So it was 11:11 one day, and I was like, make a wish. And my dad goes, instead of making a wish at 11:11, you should write down something you're grateful for or think about something that you're grateful for. And at first I was like, no, I love making wishes. And then I started doing the thing where every time it would be 11:11, I would take a Snapchat picture. I would put the time and write, I'm thankful for blah, blah, blah. And I've been doing it for 3 months now. Every time I catch 11:11. And then I search in my memories just the word thankful, and they all show up. And it is so cool. It is really cool to look back and see all of the random things that I've written down. So I totally recommend doing that. It's actually been a really cool experience. And I'm so glad that my dad inspired me to start doing that instead of asking for something that I don't need, because we really do have all that we need. And I don't mean that in a sense of like don't have goals and don't have dreams, but I mean it in a sense of appreciate what you got right now. Appreciate what you're working with and do what you can with that. We gain nothing from constantly wanting things that are just unnecessary. And I think this goes into the same category of like being jealous of people. We gain nothing from that, ever. Jealousy is one of the things that I worked on for a very long time, especially in high school. I think I struggled with it a lot. I wanted to be one of the super popular girls who went to all the parties, who hung out with all the boys. And I spent so much of high school wishing that I was like them instead of appreciating everyone I was surrounded with in high school, some of my best friends, having some of the best memories ever. And I don't know, I think that just kind of snapped things into perspective for me when I really realized, what am I gaining from this? This is not making me a better person. This is just making me always wish that there was something more for me. And there's no need to do that. There's no need for us to be like that. I've now noticed that when I find myself getting jealous of something, I've found a way to kind of turn it into inspiration. Not in a way of like, oh, she has this, so I'm going to do it. It's more of, that's really, really cool. I'm going to work on myself and maybe I'll be able to do that one day. Or I don't know. I don't know exactly where I'm going with that. I've just found a good way to turn jealousy into inspiration, and I think it's one of the coolest things I've done. So I totally recommend working on making that shift. It starts in your mind. You'll catch yourself being like, wow, she's so pretty. Why don't I look like that? Shift it. Wow, she's beautiful. And that doesn't take anything away from my beauty. We're both beautiful, And I've noticed that when I do that, it makes the world feel like a kinder place. Finding the beauty in all of the little things around you, even if the situation is terrible, simply just makes the world seem better. And I think that if we all did that, the world would be a better place. And it all starts with you. The world is a really big place. And I know sometimes we feel very small, but we're not. And it doesn't mean that we can't make a very big change. It starts with one step. Holding the door open for the person behind you, complimenting someone next to you in line, buying the drink for the person behind you. That can change the course of someone else's day. And it may inspire them to do the same thing for someone else. And then it'll change that person's day. And they'll do the same thing. And it's just this cycle where eventually your one random act of kindness just changed 20,000 people's day. I don't know how many people it would actually be. I don't know if it would be 20,000, but it doesn't matter. Changing one person's day is a really, really good feeling. I also just found this quote, and I want to read it to you. Cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you, and to give thanks continuously. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. And I love that. I simply just found that because I'm doing not a lot of research, but I'm just Googling gratitude and seeing what I can find. And I like that quote. It also talks about how a lot of people see gratitude as something as simple as just saying thank you and being thankful. But apparently, from a scientific perspective, it's a positive emotion that serves a biological purpose, which is very cool. Also, I'm noticing I feel like I've said the word cool so many times, so I'm gonna work on not saying that anymore. But I love the idea of viewing gratitude as an emotion. And I think that's something that I definitely want to incorporate into my life a little bit more. A lot more, actually. I've also noticed something that I'm working on is showing gratitude. Because I feel so much gratitude. And I'm constantly thinking about how much I appreciate everything that goes on in my life. And I think sometimes it's hard for me to display that. And I don't know if that's something that anyone else struggles with. I think it's kind of a vulnerability thing. But I think that we should all work on showing our gratitude a little bit more. Just by doing the simple acts of saying thank you to people. I've been thinking about this in terms a lot with my family. I have the greatest family in the whole wide world, and I love them more than anything. But I think I just get so caught up in life that I forget to show them that, and I forget to remind them that I love them all the time. And I really do think that a lot of us struggle with that just because, I don't know, they're our family. We don't think so often to just randomly go hug each other and be like, you know what? I love you. So let's do that. Let's hug our parents. Tell them we love them. Our siblings, our aunts, our cousins, anyone, everyone, even our friends. We're going to focus on showing more gratitude. And everything I'm saying in this episode is stuff that I need to do more of. So I figured I might as well share it. I might as well hold myself accountable and maybe inspire someone else to work on the same things. And with the holidays coming around and being very much in the holiday season right now, get excited to do the little things like eating good food, eating lots of desserts, lighting a Christmas candle, buying gifts for your friends and your family. There is so much beauty in this season. And you don't want to look back and think, oh, I should have appreciated Christmas time more. So focus on that. Focus on seeing the beauty in each of these days. Focus on not feeling guilty for whatever it is that you do, because you're gaining something from it no matter what. And on the note of buying gifts for your friends and family, I also wanted to just take a second to say thank you to all the small businesses that have always believed in me and always supported me through everything that I've done. And this isn't an ad and this isn't sponsored, but I am going to tell you guys a couple of my favorite small businesses. If you guys want to shop or you want to check it out, a lot of them are running Cyber Monday deals kind of all through the week. And I posted a lot of them in a TikTok, and there's some on my Instagram stories. But if you guys don't know where to shop and you don't know what to do, Grey Bandit, the first brand that I have ever worked with, is doing a 25% off sale with the code Black Friday. And $1 from every single order is being donated to a mental health charity of Grey Bandit's followers choosing, which I think is incredible, and I'm super excited, and I love Grey Bandit with my whole heart. I'm literally always wearing Grey Bandit, so check that out. And then a couple of my other favorite small businesses, Out of the Blue Swim is a really good friend of mine and such an inspiration to me. McKenna, she started this business from nothing, and she puts her all into it. And all of her pieces are sustainably made, such great quality, and all around just such a great brand. So go check out Out of the Blue Swim if you want. Also, my good friend Greta. I feel like a lot of you guys know Greta. We have a similar following. But her and her husband started a company called The Beach Club, and they are running a deal right now where if you spend $25, you get a free t-shirt, and there's just sales all throughout the site. So go check that out. Also, a lot of you guys are always asking about like my crew necks and my sweatshirts. My favorite ones are from All Things Lillian, and she also has all those really cute notepads that I actually get a lot of DMs about, and Shop Olive Lynn. Also, I don't know if Lonely Ghost is considered a small business, and I'm not sure what Black Friday deals they're running, but I absolutely love Lonely Ghost and the message that they share. And the creator of that company, Indie Blue, is like one of my biggest inspirations. I didn't follow her when I first started doing all this social media stuff, and I actually found Lonely Ghost, I think, before I found her. But now I follow her, and I've gotten so like up to date with her life, and I think that she is just one of the coolest people ever. So check out Lonely Ghost. Also, another small business that I love, a lot of my bracelets that I wear, most of them actually are from a brand called 3 Heartstrings, and this is a beautiful nonprofit organization that creates bracelets for different charities and different organizations and is always raising money. So I totally recommend getting some bracelets to sack on your wrist. And there are so many other small businesses that I just love and appreciate. So I'm going to try to post more of them on my Instagram story, but I just wanted to share those with you guys because I know that shopping is a struggle. Trust me. But it is nice to support small when you can. And I know it's not always the most reasonable, affordable, or realistic, but when it is and when it does feel right, It means a lot to these businesses. And now that I'm sitting here talking, I'm also thinking Jacqueline Jewelry is another jewelry company that I absolutely love. She's running 25% off, and you can actually use code LEX25. And that's where my globe necklace is, all my little pearl chokers. I actually get so many questions about Jack Maria Jewelry, so go check that out too. I'm not going to keep listing off a bunch of different brands. I'll try to post as many as I can, but I definitely wanted to share those because I am super, whoa, I just forgot how to speak English again. I am super blessed and grateful to have worked with all of these brands from day one. Literally since the beginning, these are the brands that have supported me through it all, and I want to do the same for them. But you guys, I'm not going to sit here and kind of just keep repeating the same things because I feel like I've been doing that for a while. But what I want you to gain from this podcast, this episode, a little bit of awareness that there is beauty surrounding us. And a lot of times we are the ones choosing not to see it. We do it to ourselves. We get in our heads and we're constantly looking for the bad, and we're constantly looking for what's wrong, and we're constantly trying to figure out what's wrong with us, instead of focusing on everything out there that's great. So just choose to see the world in a positive light. And a lot will change for you mentally and physically and emotionally and in every single way. Focus on being kind. Focus on treating people the way that you want to be treated. And I'm working on it just as much. We're all constantly learning and we're all constantly growing. And I believe in you. And I'm proud of you. And I am so, so, so beyond lucky that you are a part of my life. So thank you. This podcast has brought me so much joy. And it has brought in me so much excitement for the future in a way. I get so excited to record. I love talking to you guys. And I also like to pretend that we're all like sitting in a room together and we're just chatting. Because that's what it kind of feels like for me. But I love you guys so much more than you will ever understand. I really can't even put it into words. And the support that you guys have given me and this podcast has been just so incredible. And thank you for believing in me. Keep being freaking awesome. And if you guys want to get caught up on some other episodes, feel free to do that. If you're still listening and you guys want to go follow the podcast, like the podcast, rate the podcast on Apple Podcasts, it would mean the world to me. And I'm very, very excited to talk to you guys next Monday. I have a bunch of ideas of episodes I want to record, but DM me what you want to hear the most, and then I will decide which one we're going to do. Also, I know that you guys loved having Lisette and my mom as guest stars on the podcast, so I'm thinking it would be super fun to do an episode with both of them. That'll probably come to you at some point in December. We'll see. But I love you guys, and I'm grateful for you, and I will see you next Monday, and I hope you're smiling. Goodbye.